Welcome to Vision in the Valley. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about my kids. I want to brag on them a little bit. So, I have four adult children. That sounds kind of odd to even say four adult children, but I've got four: boy, girl, boy, girl. They are beautiful people, they are smart people, entrepreneurs, and they are a force by themselves individually, and I have a different relationship with each of them separately, but then they are a force. Oh wow, a force to behold when they're together. I watch how they interact with one another, and I also love watching how other people watch them when they're together. And I'm not being biased by any means, because other people tell me this all the time. So it's a little brag moment, but it's also very true. But what I want to talk about is that when you have those fond memories of your children, or when you're thinking about your kids, mothers especially are thinking about how life was to carry them. Now, in my case, the oldest son, I didn't carry him. He didn't come from my womb, but he's still my son nonetheless. And we are a well-knit family. We're together. There is no step this or extra that. We are all family, and they are all siblings. I said that only to say that when I talk about the three that I did give birth to, you think as a mother, you think about not only the physical part of delivery, which people always talk about, but it's also the caring of the babies before they're born, and the labor pains, which is what I want to talk about today, the labor pains that happen before the actual delivery. And I don't think that you have to be a mother who has given birth to even appreciate what I'm going to say about that. With each of my pregnancies, each child is different, so each pregnancy is different, and even from woman to woman, those are different, because we're different people. Our bodies are different, so there's no set rules about what has to happen. But we do have an array of things that we use to benchmark to say these are like normal deliveries or normal pregnancies, right? So the labor is about preparation for the delivery. And the body is so amazing. God is so good that it just blows my mind when I think about all of the details that go into this birth happening, like pieces and the steps that your body does on its own automatically, because he made it in that divine way to occur. But as I think about my own labor pains, even at the very beginning, my very first with Ashley, you don't know what labor pains are because you've not experienced it before. You could read, and I'm a reader, so I'd read a bunch of stuff and talk to people, but you really don't know because you've not experienced it. I remember reading like, oh, lower back pain, and I'm like, oh, that's not so bad, right? This is a lot of pain in your back. Okay, it's fine. It doesn't sound terrible. And when people talk to you about your expectancy, they really talk about the delivery to me more than anything else. So I didn't have a lot to go on. But with the very first labor pains, you've got these Braxton Hicks, which we learned are the body pretend labor pains. Some of those Braxton Hicks can be pretty strong though. And you're like, yeah, you're in labor, but it's just your body's way of getting you prepared. Again, God's divine order that there should even be such a thing. The one thing that I learned even from the time frame is that nothing that could have been described to you really will get you ready for it. But once you've experienced labor, even if it's a little bit different the next time around, there's something about the actual labor that you won't ever forget this feeling. So when you're truly in labor, because some of us have gone through, like with Ashley, my labor was very long because it really wasn't time. they actually kind of encouraged it because I had issues with my blood pressure, and there were some concerns. So that's really why that happened. So for that, it was a longer labor because it wasn't, I think it wasn't the natural thing for my body to be going through. It wasn't time. The other two, which were much shorter, but some things still were true for those that were true for when I had Ashley. So what are those things? Well, I remember being, and forgive me, it's been a while since I've actually been through labor, but you never really forget it because it's a life-changing situation, right? So what happens, what is the common denominators for me, at least, with all three of those labors? Well, there is an intense feeling that I would feel in my back. And it's almost like your hand will go towards your back to like hold it or stroke it or support it in some kind of way because there's something going on. There's pain and you're hot because you're uncomfortable, and you want to fan yourself because you're hot, and you've got this back thing going on. You're leaning over, you're shifting, you're going through all these little position changes because your body is going through this thing, and you're trying to get some level of comfort that really will not happen until you have this baby. But you just do what is natural. And if you're not progressing as quickly as your doctor wants you to, they will encourage you to walk. So as you walk, the walking helps baby to position themselves for the birthing canal. So it's all science, right? Well, I'm talking about this today because I've been growing spiritually, and I could be in service and the word is being preached and it hit me, and then I'll get teary-eyed like a lot of us do. Like that just blessed me. Like he's talking to me right now. And then we'll maybe we're in Bible study and that thing will bless us. Or maybe we're talking to our friends or to a stranger, as I had in my last episode, and we're testifying and we get teary-eyed. So that was the way I knew the spirit, so to speak. So those teary eyes or that emotional feeling, I went from feeling that, which I felt all of my life. Now I experience labor pains. And so I've heard a number of services where the pastor, whether it's in my case, whether it's Pastor Hannah or Glenn, will talk about birthing something great. And so I'm hearing this, but I'm not really putting two and two together, because if something really is penetrating my space, I'll even have to get up. This is how my journey has progressed. I can't sit still, so now I have to. So what am I doing? I'm pacing because things are uncomfortable. Then I find myself fanning. Now, it's hot in here. It's hot in here. I can't breathe. I find myself doing this thing, with labor when you're taught to breathe. So I'm breathing. I'm just like even trying to control my breaths, because if I don't control them, I feel like I'll just be all over the place. So just like we learned when we were going through our labor and delivery techniques, here I am doing these same things. So I'm hearing Pastor Glenn and Pastor Hannah talk about the birthing of something great, and I'm still like, I'm connecting it, but I'm not quite connecting it. So I started watching Netflix called The Midwife. I started binge watching it. I love the show. The show is set in England, and I don't know, 1950s, but expectant mothers would have a midwife assigned. And so your weekly check was a particular person who came to see you. So she kind of monitored your pregnancy the entire time, was familiar with you, made sure your house was set up appropriately to give birth and all that good stuff. And as I'm binge watching this, I'm listening to them breathe. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's a part of what I'm doing too. I'm like monitoring my breaths. So I'm like, oh wow, this is crazy that I feel like I'm going through labor. And I said that to myself, and it blessed me. I can get to this space by myself when I'm in prayer. That at one point in my life would not have happened, But where I am in my journey now, I can call on the Lord and the Holy Spirit. And I even feel like right now, just the joy of it all is just remarkable. It had occurred to me that while all of this is happening, this is actually labor, because before I knew what labor pain was like, for example, when I had Ashley, I didn't have anything to compare it to. But once I had Ashley, I knew what labor felt like when I had Jason and Alyssa. So once I put my finger on the fact that I was having labor pains, it made me think about what I was giving birth to. So when I think about those labor pains, when I finally realized, you know what, you're having, girl, this is like labor. This is labor pain. And I stopped joking about it, because at first I was joking about it with myself. Now I'm claiming it for what it is. And it's telling me you're getting ready for delivery. You're going to birth something great. And I think that we may give birth to many things in our life. Everything is connected spiritually. So whether it's an entrepreneurial opportunity, that's still a spiritual connection, because the Lord blesses us with the desires of our hearts, secret petitions of our hearts. And he also blesses us with the thing that we bring to him, saying, this is what I really want to do. I really want to start a non-for-profit. I really want to, it could be a hair salon. It could be whatever it is. So it's spiritual. Those things are still connected spiritually. So I think that we give birth, not just women, obviously, but we as spiritual beings give birth to multiple things throughout the course of our lives. And if we're really connected, we just continue to give birth to things. I think about people like Tyler Perry, Shonda Rhimes, Oprah, any artist you can think of. Those are people giving birth to a thing. And the more spiritually connected you are, the greater your deliveries are, in my opinion, and the more often you have them. There's no limit to how many of those you can give birth to. I also think that my labor, this is just me, I don't know about anybody else, it's just me sharing. My labor is intensified based on the delivery of the thing. And the reason why I say that is because, like this podcast, it was something that before I knew it was a thing, before I knew I was supposed to be doing it, it was actually on my plate. And that is why this is so special, because I listen as I record them, I listen back to them, and then when I'm putting them together to deliver a season, I think about how I had no idea that episode 7 was going to say that after I said this in episode 1. It's so connected. So my labor pains may be intense here for this delivery, but they may be magnified by, 3 times that with the next one, because it's that much bigger. I'm going to reach that many more people. I'm going to be blessed and bless others in a greater way. And once I started to lean in on that this is actual labor pains and I'm actually giving birth, it started to happen for me a little differently. So that is what I like to leave you with. Labor pain. You're going to give birth to something great. That is why he has us here. We're here to be vessels for his good word. So you're going to deliver this thing that's great. Some of it is going to be some new discoveries, some new project. More importantly, are you preparing your space for your delivery, like with the midwives, preparing your birthing place? Because you're going to give birth to it, so you have to prepare. Labor pains gets your mind thinking and moving. Take this time to get prepared for this birth. Get ready for it, because soon it will be time to call the midwife. I'll talk to you soon.